2, 3, 4.
Bonjour, my bros and sirs, on this, our 33rd episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Merci beaucoup to you for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and play. I'm one of your hosts, the Brazilian mountaineer with a mild case of dementia, Lucas Ham Swisher. With me is the judge, jury, and executioner of fake news and spoilers, Patrick Novacell.
Good morning.
Also with me, and Pat, our volleyball savant who can make anyone laugh in 3 words or less, Ronnie Johantis.
I am back, baby.
Yeah! And our final member of the GMG quadfecta, the man with music in his heart, Doctor Who on his brain, La Coretta in his stomach, and is currently up to his neck in a big pile of sheet music, Marc Boucher.
We're in the Endgame now. Oh, excuse me. I mean, we're on the podcast now. What's up, guys?
Hey! If this is your first time joining us, welcome and hold on to your butts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. If it's not your first time, welcome back and be of good cheer, because Ronnie J is most certainly here. It's so good to see you, brother. You beautiful face.
We missed
Thank you. Sir. Thank you. It's good to be here.
I almost pity the listeners right now because they can't look upon your face, and it's sad. If only there was.
I'm not wearing a hat and everything.
I know, right? You even did your hair up for us and everything. It's wonderful.
Got your nails done. Got your hair did.
It's all natural here.
Yeah, it is.
This just happens when I get out of the shower.
I woke up like this.
Well, along with this beautiful return, we have personal updates to give, MCU movies to rank, and Endgame movie predictions to make. But before we continue, it is time again for our newest segment, GMG Community Cornery. Still working on it.
I can't believe that's still a thing.
I mean, no one's given me another suggestion, and nobody really
You're not wrong.
told me it was wrong, so I'm just going with it.
Okay.
But whether we're going to be sharing a Fackler frenzy, semi-professionally made haiku, putting you in stitches with dad jokes, or a random question from our community members, we have listeners too special not to share. And this week, we get to go to a good old favorite and have our old-fashioned Fackler frenzy. Are you guys ready?
Oh, boy.
This baby is half random, half Marvel. So I hope
30 minutes.
You are ready for the Fackler frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you guys really ready? Oh, we need to decide the order. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We're going to go with Patrick, Marc, Ronnie, me.
Got it.
Okay. I don't know why I started with Patrick. Nothing ever good comes from that, but we're going to go with it.
Ouch.
Shut up.
I don't want to say nothing ever good. That's not true. But I can't shut up, or we can't do the Fackler frenzy because you don't have it.
You can send it to me.
But occasionally, Patrick, just to inspire you, Chad also shared some of his answers just to give you a moment to think. Okay? So here we go. What is your favorite MCU TV series to date? His is the Punisher series on Netflix. Go.
Daredevil Season 1.
Daredevil Season 1.
I didn't hear the question.
Marvel TC... It's too early for that. Marvel TV series, Ronnie. You got one? You like?
Yeah, whatever The Rock is in, that's mine.
Perfect. And I'm going to go with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right.
Season
Next
1.
All the seasons.
No,
that's not true.
Get
Not all
outta
the seasons.
here.
No, season 2 and 3 were also very good. So seasons 1 through 3 for sure. Then after that, it gets a little shaky, but they're still really good. Anyways, favorite fiction book, Patrick?
Favorite fiction book?
That means
it's probably
not
got to
true.
be. Oh, not true. Okay, thank you for defining fiction. I appreciate that.
So if it's called God's Round to Earth, it is not fiction. If it's called God's Flat Earth, it's fiction.
I've read like 4 books in my life. So it's going to be pretty, yeah. Da Vinci Code for sure. That is number 1.
Good.
I'm going. Well, do I have to pick if it's a series?
One
No,
book.
just one book.
One book.
What color does it have to be?
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Ooh.
My daughter's reading that right now.
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and pass. I don't really read books.
Why don't you
all.
just say whatever book The Rock wrote?
Whatever book The Rock wrote.
Perfect. Well, Patrick will edit out what I said, and then he'll just put in what you said.
Yeah, edit that out, Pat, for sure.
Edit it out. Thank you. My answer is going to be Return of the King from Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
Patrick, which
Yes.
Marvel character's powers would you like to have? Chad would like to have Magneto's powers. I gave you an extra moment. Come on now. Pick some powers.
Of all the Marvel characters, I can pick one.
Yeah.
I would pick Captain Marvel's.
Nice.
Very similar to Superman's powers, so yeah.
Why not?
Yep.
Quicksilver's super speed.
Doctor Strange.
And I'm going to go with Wolverine. Healing ability. Claws. All right.
The healing claws?
Healing,
has healing
claws.
That's
Healing
more than one
ability,
ability.
No.
comma,
yeah.
claws. Fine. I want the healing ability.
There you go.
Sorry. Next is favorite karaoke song.
What?
Favorite karaoke
tough.
song. Told you, it was random.
Whatever The Rock wrote.
So you're welcome from Moana.
Yes.
Yes.
Party in the
that's a
USA,
good one.
Miley Cyrus.
I like that one.
Wait. It's not your turn, Ronnie. Mark.
Yeah, that.
Journey's Don't Stop Believing.
That's a good one.
Party in the USA, Miley Cyrus.
Beautiful. And I'm going to go with Benny and the Jets with Elton John. Because that's the
Nice.
first one that popped in my head. All right. Next one. Favorite Marvel villain. Chad's is the Green Goblin.
Thanos.
Shoot. Magneto.
Thanos.
And for the third, Thanos.
The big purple grape.
Yep. Mark, my phone just reminded me, make sure to get close to your mic, okay? Thanks.
I'm pretty close to the mic right now.
Last one. What's your favorite zoo animal?
What's Chad's?
He didn't have one.
What?
Not
I told you,
fair.
only
You're
some
supposed
of
to give
them.
me like a few seconds to think of one.
Only some of them. He said the aardvark.
The
Maybe.
aardvark.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
I like the tigers.
The eye of the tigers are the best.
Penguins.
Penguins is good, but I'm going with elephants.
I should have been thinking while you were answering, and I was not.
I
He's
am
going with
stalling
Thanos.
for a time.
I'm going to go with whatever animal The Rock likes, which is probably
Scorpions.
the scorpion. No, ooh,
What's
no.
the Scorpion King?
I like, you
Adonis.
know what? I like the fruit bat. They're fun. Make them
Interesting.
fly. Yeah.
That's a weird choice.
Yeah, well, you're a weird choice. Okay.
Way to go to the zoo to see the fruit bats.
The fruit bats, I love them.
Everybody pile into the car.
With that, let's all pile in the car together and see what's
see the
new
fruit bats.
news in our lives, sharing any and all personal or public information that got our attention this week, starting with the rock-loving Ronnie.
Ooh,
You're back, buddy. You
got
got
2
some things to
weeks.
share. Yeah. Now you can tell us the truth now that you spent most of your update last week that you sent me lying.
You don't know that was a lie.
I think we do.
It happened to be this time, but you didn't know that before I just said it.
I'm pretty sure you said it was a lie in the message.
All right. So I did watch a movie. It was not Superman.
Thanks for confessing right at the beginning, so we didn't get our hopes up.
Yeah, didn't want to drag it out this time. I watched Doctor Strange, and I really liked it. I really like so far all of like the origin stories and how the superheroes came about. Like, I really love how they did these. So the Doctor Strange one I thought was awesome because he's basically like this neurosurgeon who's, pretty much on top of the world. He's like the best there is. He's got all this money, whatever he wants. And then all of a sudden, everything basically is stripped away from him. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really cool. I guess kind of how they did that. And I thought his character overall was really good. Oddly enough, it kind of reminded me, I guess, kind of like almost of the whole like Tony Stark type guy. Very like cocky, arrogant, kind of flashy type guy. But I thought that was really neat. But the thing that was the coolest about this movie in particular was just like the manipulation powers they have like throughout the universe, like basically how they have all the buildings like rolling down and everything is moving. They're just like standing on top of it. Like I thought that was really cool how they can manipulate like all of that.
It was very Inception like stuff folding in on each other. Did you see that movie, Ronnie? Inception?
No, I did not.
I was hoping you had seen it so you could be like, yes,
movie.
just like it. You need to see that movie, man.
No, I did not, but I thought it was really cool. It was one of those movies that came like it just came really full circle. Like his last lesson was that basically it wasn't all about himself. And basically when he's fighting I can't remember who the guy is at the end.
The human or the big ugly dude?
The big ugly dude, just the face guy.
Dormammu, that's right.
Yeah, so when he's up there, basically he's like, the guy just keeps killing him, and he's like, you're just going to have to keep killing me for eternity.
Oh, that's got to be one of my favorite showdowns.
It was so cool. He just keeps killing him like repeatedly and realizes that he can't possibly win. But it was cool because it's like he started as being this very arrogant, like self-centered, everything's about him guy, and then all of a sudden at the end he makes this decision to basically save everybody by repeatedly getting killed. So it was just kind of a neat like transformation of the character into like what he is.
I thought Dormammu too looked like a relative of Thanos. He had that
he really
chin
did.
foldy thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah, he really did. I thought it was really cool. It was just a bizarre movie. Like I have not gone back and watched that a second time yet, but I'm definitely going to because there's so much in that movie. I feel like there's just like I'm one of those people when I watch through, like I'm so into the story of the movie that I miss like so much like of the small stuff like throughout the movie.
Right.
So in order for me to like pay attention to that stuff, like I have to go back through and watch it again.
Yeah, Marvel kind of does that too, where they kind of make you want to watch it over again because there's a lot of things, small like little Easter eggs that you miss, little story threads that you kind of miss. For sure. Yeah. Yeah,
and I did. I watched another half movie. Actually, I didn't have enough time to watch a full movie. I knew I had to leave, but I watched basically the first half of Black Panther. It was just there on Netflix, so that's why I chose that one. But I'm about a little over an hour into it, and I really like that one so far. Mm-hmm. That one is really, really cool. I love how they did that whole it's like a whole hidden city. Like the story behind that was really cool. How they have they found all this technology like forever ago, and they basically hide their city like out in plain sight in the middle of like a rainforest. So, but I haven't gotten through that one yet. So, I think I got to the point where, I guess basically the heir to the throne like just has come back to like Wakanda. So I know they're about to duel. I haven't seen any of that yet.
Showdown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's when things get very interesting.
I didn't want to watch like part of it and then have to go. So I stopped it before they actually there was a showdown there. So other than those movies, I went to a comedy club and saw a comedian. It was the first time I've ever actually gone to a comedy club. I normally I like to listen to a lot of comedians and watch a lot of stand-up. Like, if I'm sitting at my desk working and stuff, it's really nice to kind of just keep you occupied, while you're working, laugh and stuff like that. But this is the first time I've ever actually went and seen anybody live. And the person I saw was Craig Robinson. And if you don't know who that is.
From The Office?
Daryl from The Office, yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was really cool. He came to town. And I can't really tell you anything that he said. It was not a very child-friendly show. But so he comes out and he's on the keyboard the whole time. So he's playing songs and stuff on the keyboard like throughout his whole show. And it was really, really fun. Like he had the whole crowd like involved. Like he had the two sides of the room against each other, trying to get everybody in tune and stuff. But it was a really, really good time. I've never seen anybody live. We were about, I think, like 10 feet away. It was like a pretty personal like comedy club, like very close. There's maybe, I would say like 50 to maybe 75 people it fit in there. Not very big, but it was really cool. It was really cool to be that close.
Yeah, I've never been to a comedy club or seen stand-up comedy, but I've heard good things. I've heard it's kind of like the difference between watching a sporting event on TV and being at the sporting event. Like it's just got a whole different feel to it.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. We were so there's basically the front row of tables are the VIP tables, so you can like pay a little extra to get up there. Those are most of the time the people that get like picked on and like called up on stage and stuff like that. Like that happened to a couple people. Because I think a lot of his comedy too is a lot of just improv. So he doesn't, he has stuff that he's written, but you can tell he just totally goes off the cusp and, starts talking to the crowd and asking questions and stuff like that. And, it's always like really funny with him. But it was really fun, really awesome experience. I'll definitely go back to see. I think I saw, who was it that's coming into town sometime next month? You ever heard Harlan Williams?
I've heard the name before.
Harlan Williams is the guy who, in Dumb and Dumber, who drinks the pee, the cop. That's Harlan Williams.
Okay.
He's in...
Wasn't he in Half Baked?
Half Baked, yeah, he's in Half Baked. He's the one he's the guy that goes to jail. He's in a bunch of movies, just not really like main parts. But his like comedy style, I've watched his, and it is all improv. Like he almost goes out with just nothing and just starts talking to the crowd like for an hour. So it's just like a whole different thing. I'm actually a little nervous to go to that one. I might have to sit in the back. I'm going to get roughed up front. But other than that, I didn't really do anything that was too interesting. I did play in the volleyball tournament, lost pretty miserably.
Oh.
And
you'll get them next time, buddy. Next time.
I was thinking to myself, since I didn't have the podcast last week, I was like, all right, I'm going to get some Marvel stuff. I'm going to get some Marvel movies knocked out. And I didn't. So there's that.
You got 1.5. That's pretty good.
1.5. That's outpacing myself big time. That's like
big time.
But I will say this week, I am going to see Endgame at some point. If not this weekend, it'll be the following week. But I have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. I have friends coming over to watch Marvel movies with me. So
nice.
We're going to knock out a few of them. I told them, like, what movies do you think I should see before? Because I don't really know. Like, I haven't seen any of the Avengers, so I know I'm going to watch those.
Yeah, that would probably be good to watch.
Maybe like a Thor.
Well, you've already watched Thor Ragnarok, right?
No.
You
I haven't
haven't
watched any Thor movie.
Yeah, you need to watch Avengers.
Watch Ragnarok. Watch the first one and watch Ragnarok. Do not watch the second one.
No, watch Avengers 1 and 2. Age of Ultron is important for
no, I'm saying
stuff.
Thor 2.
Oh, yeah, no, forget Thor 1 and 2. Just watch
No. You
Thor
can go ahead and
Ragnarok.
watch Avengers 1 and 2. By all means.
Yeah, definitely watch Avengers 1, 2, and Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, I was looking through the list today to see like what I should watch. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I'm at least gonna get 3 in. I might try. I'm gonna watch the rest of Black Panther at some point this week, but I might try and get in a couple more.
Do
Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I believe that is going to lead into Endgame.
Yeah, I have Ant-Man actually recorded, so that is one of the ones I want to watch. Plus, I really like Paul Rudd too. I like him in almost everything. So, but we'll see. That's my 2-week update. Who's up next?
Paper, rock, scissors. Paper, rock, scissors, shoot. Mark, you win. You're the only one that did something.
Yay! So honestly, not a whole lot happened since we recorded on Wednesday. All the usual stuff that happens in my life happened, of course. But certainly the big one that happened was Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is risen.
He was risen indeed.
Mm-hmm. So certainly, as you know, I'm a worship leader at a church, so it's kind of a big deal, kind of a big day for me. And so, well, every Sunday's a big day for me, but obviously it's a big Christian holiday. So, before service, we have this, instead of Sunday school, we have this big breakfast that the whole church is a part of. And so that was awesome and very tasty. And then, of course, we had service.
Was it was it like a potluck breakfast?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
What was the hot item? I know how that works. Usually, someone gets wind of like some kind of egg quiche or something with bacon in it, and like people just attack it like hyenas. Was there a dish that people were like?
Oh, we had like
attacking?
4 or 5 different casseroles, for sure. Breakfast casseroles, each of them containing some sort of cheese, egg, potato,
yes,
and some sort of meat like bacon or whatever.
I'm listening. Keep going.
Yeah.
I don't get these kind of potluck breakfasts.
And they had like cinnamon rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah. Keep going. I'm still listening.
I'm trying to think what else they had.
You know what we get here? We get French bread, cold ham, sliced, cold cheese, sliced, coffee, and sometimes cake, like carrot cake, like chocolate cake. That's it.
Sliced.
That's sad.
Yes, sliced. It is sad. It's like everything's cold, and I'm just like, no, I need like something's gonna stick to my bones and warm me up.
You call this a potluck? But yeah. So then, of course, we had the main service. Obviously, a lot of the music is themed around the resurrection. And every Easter, our church has this, as with other churches, they have this tradition where they basically have taken this cross and they've constructed it with chicken wire, so that and they get a bunch of flowers, so that the children in the church can come up and basically decorate this cross, putting flowers all over it. And so when it's done, it looks amazing. It's definitely a great representation that, about new life because of Jesus dying on the cross and then being resurrected. We can have new life in Christ. And so, those types of beautiful flowers sort of demonstrate that. So that's always awesome to see. And then from there, we drove about an hour and a half to my sister's house to spend time with my family for Easter, and had more yummy food. Ham, scalloped potatoes, salad. There was other stuff that I can't remember, but it was good, and had a great time with my family for sure. And honestly, that was basically the main highlights of my week, other than on the gaming front, of course, more and more and more Apex Legends. For sure. Got a couple wins this weekend. Actually played with Chris McCracken and Sheldor the other night, and we were able to get a win.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Chris McCracken didn't sabotage you this time?
No, he did not.
That was nice of him.
And there was no Marc at all. Although I'm sure at some point I did get found and shot at first. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much my week. It was kind of light on the stuff since we recorded on Wednesday. But Patrick, how was your week?
Okay. Just like yourself, it was Easter weekend, so we had a lot of family stuff going on. So we had dinner over my in-laws on Saturday, and I was like, man, it was Saturday, and I was just sneezing. My nose was running. The allergies were just kicking my butt on Saturday for whatever reason. And, like a lot of people have headaches or allergies. Those are like number one, number two kind of things that go on. So I don't get headaches, but man, whenever it's comes springtime and people are cutting their grass and flowers are blooming, man, it just wrecks me. So I took so I was over there, which they live right across the street from us, and I came home. I was like, I gotta go home. I gotta take a break. Went home, took a Benadryl, had some nasal spray, and I was home for about an hour. And after that, I felt pretty good. So I went back over there. The only reason I went back over there really is because they were having filet mignon over there, and I wanted to.
Oh man,
I'm like,
can't
you know
pass
what?
that up.
I'm gonna make sure I can taste this, so I'm gonna do whatever I can to be able to smell this steak. So we went over there, had a good time, and then on Sunday we went over my parents' house for Easter, hung out over there, did egg hunt, and yeah, it was good. I didn't have my allergies were gone by Sunday, so that was good. Other than that,
perfect
nothing really
timing.
else. What's that?
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Other than that, nothing really else happened. On the gaming front, like I said last week, I beat Astrobot, and so I'm like, okay, I need to find another VR game to play with the kids. And there was this game called the Playroom VR, and it is a free VR game, and basically is just like Astrobot, but it is mini games, and these mini games can be played from 1 to 4 players. And if you play one of these mini games where there is multiple players, I mean, there's only one VR headset, so the other players are watching the TV. And I had the VR headset on, and the kids were watching the TV, and they had their own controllers. And what I see in my headset is different from what they see on the TV. It was kind of like a quasi split screen thing going on.
Okay, cool.
And based on the mini game, sometimes I would have the controller, sometimes they would have the controller. And it was kind of like a communication kind of game. Like if I had the headset on, like there was like this ghost level, and they could see the ghost on the TV, but I couldn't see the ghost on my headset. So they had to tell me where to shoot. It was kind of like a Ghostbusters thing, where I had to shoot these ghosts and get them into my controller. So that was kind of cool. There was another game where I was a monster, like rampaging through the city and busting down all these buildings, and they were like these 3 little astrobots running down the street trying to stay alive. So it's kind of like it was a pretty cool cooperative game, and it was free. So we started playing that, I think on Saturday, maybe it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday, and then we played it on Saturday, and I got the platinum in probably maybe 3 hours.
Nice.
There was like, yeah, there was a whole bunch of different trophies, but each mini game had like maybe 5 to 10 trophies, and you would get it almost on one playthrough. So it was super simple. So that was my 13th platinum of the year.
Yeah.
I have upped my platinums to 19, so I got 6 more. So that was actually a pretty fun game.
Cool.
Looking forward to finding other games like that. So if you know of any, if you see any, or if the community you guys see any, let me know. If you know any games like that where I can play with my kids. I played some more Apex. I got another win with Marc and Sheldor. I didn't play too much of Apex. I only played maybe 10 matches this past week, but I did get a win with them, and I got 2 more wins with randos. And the win that Marc and Sheldor and I got, so in this game there's like this circle, and if you're outside the circle, your damage depletes or your health depletes.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, this is the one where I made some kind of comment where Marc and Sheldor quote unquote flaked out because I saw that Marc and Sheldor had gotten knocked out like 5 or 6 minutes before Patrick.
Yeah, so what happens is if you're outside the circle, your health depletes, and every time it detracts, if you're outside the zone, it hurts more and more. So we were coming down to the second to last circle, and we were all outside of the circle. And I had this character, Octane. And Octane is faster than all the others. One of his abilities, he can put a syringe in his leg or his arm. I don't know where he puts it, but then he can start running really fast. So because I had him, I was able to outrun the circle to get inside of it. But they did not. So with it being the second to last circle, the health just went down super fast. and I couldn't go and save them. So they died, and there was 3 squads left, and I was just sitting there while 2 squads were fighting each other, and it came down to one other squad and me, and I knew where the guy was, so I started shooting him, and then I hid behind a box, and then I ran towards the last circle. And as I was running towards the last circle, I was waiting for the guy to come out, and he never did. And I just sat there, and that guy got killed by the circle.
Yeah, he died.
Oh my
to the
goodness.
ring.
So I was just sitting there. I didn't even shoot him. I didn't even get the satisfaction of getting a kill to win. So, yeah, that was my first one of just sitting there.
Hey, whatever
doing
works.
Nothing. Yeah. But yeah, I got that win.
A win's a
and
win,
then
a win.
Yeah, a win's a win. And lastly, I started playing The Walking Dead final season. There's 4 episodes in the game. I have finished episode 1, and it is, I love the Walking Dead series. I really enjoyed the first episode. First episode ended, and I'm like, I gotta play more of this. So I think I was up till 1 a.m. last night playing that. And then, yeah, I tried to get into it today, but Apex was calling me, so I played a little bit more of that. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to get into that, because Mortal Kombat 11 comes out tomorrow. So
does it?
Be playing. Actually, that comes out in like 2.5 hours. So once this podcast ends and I start editing it, I'm going to be up till 3 a.m. playing that game.
Look out.
But other than that, yeah, that's about it.
Dude, that Mortal Kombat commercial, by the way, was like the coolest gaming commercial I've ever even seen. I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to get that one too.
I haven't seen it. Is it live action? Or
no,
game?
it was like I think it was like a story. Man, what did I see that on? No, I saw the commercial for that, and I was like, oh man, that game looks incredible. So yeah, I'll probably be buying that too.
It looks good.
Into that one.
Time for a showdown between Patrick and Ronnie.
I pre-ordered it on PS4.
Oh, right. Oops.
No!
Jerk.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's it for me. Lucas.
All right. So, for me, the gaming actually was pretty low key this past 5 days. Like Marc said, we had a short week because we recorded later last week and got into it on our normal day this week. So, I've still been on the hunt for that plat on Lego Batman 3. I've been doing that with my kids. So, little by little, we've been playing each of those levels, free play levels, collecting those bricks and mini kits and all that fun stuff if you've ever played a Lego game. Along with that, I also have been crawling through Fallout 76 with that there shelter, exploring the hills of West Virginia, digital West Virginia. Nothing major going on there. Just the only thing actually that just I turned a corner today because Lent finished with Easter Sunday, so I am able to continue playing Fallout 76 on my own now. I don't have to always stay up late at night to play with Shelder, with Jonathan. I don't want to get into the habit of just calling him Shelder all the time because then I'll never
Shelder.
that there Shelder. But along with that, one of the more interesting things that happened with gaming this past week was I'm pretty sure I got the worst, cheesiest platinum I've ever gotten in my life. Maybe. At least top 3 cheesy, easy, terrible platinums. So
it was easier and cheesier than My Name is Mayo?
Yes. And let me tell you why. So,
okay.
Probably on Thursday, I think, I was hanging out with the wife watching a show, and all of a sudden I got a text from my friend, Mighty Paolo. Now, for people in our GMG community, you might not know this name, but those of the Married to the Games community, we know Mighty Paolo from back many years ago when he was an active member, and he actually, I met this guy Paulo, who's from Brazil. He lived in Sao Paulo, where I live now, and then he moved up north. But I actually met him through Married to the Games. We just both happened to listen to the show, and years ago we just decided to meet. And my wife was very scared for my life, but thankfully he was not a crazy person, murderer, kind of guy, and he was normal. But since then, since we met a few years ago, we've kept a friendship going. And even though he moved to the north, probably, like a 4 or 5 hour flight away, and driving it would take like 24 hours to reach him. So he's pretty much out of reach unless I have a week free to visit him. But he sent me a message, and he said, "Hey, I need help with a trophy." And I'm like, "What trophy do you need help with?" And he said, "This game called Conan Exiles." And I'm like, "Conan Exiles?" I'm like, "Isn't that a PS Plus game?" And it is a PS Plus game that was free starting at the beginning of April. And I said, I looked up that trophy, and it takes like 50 or 60 hours to get. He's like, "Yeah, that's not exactly true." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Here, follow this link." So he sent me a link, and I looked it up, and I found out that you can get this platinum in less than an hour and a half. Close to an hour, you can get this platinum.
From 50 to 60 hours down to 90 minutes.
Yes. So he said, you need to download this. Now, here's the catch with this game. This game, I'd looked up this game when it was first free at the beginning of the month. And not only did it say the trophy took 50 or 60 hours to get the platinum, it also got a terrible rating. It was a very bad game. It looked terrible. It played terrible, etc. But I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Totally lost it.
Shenanigans by playing getting a 50, 60 hour plat in 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I get. So when I had looked it up, it didn't look fun at all, and it looked like it was going to take a long time. And I was like, this isn't worth it. He said, so here's what you do. He said, you go into the settings, and there's a part in the settings where you can make yourself the admin. And once you make yourself the admin, you can set the level of your character. So, like, for example, there are 5 trophies for getting to level 60. You can set your character to level 60, and you automatically get all those trophies.
Yep, shenanigans.
Yeah, you can spawn any NPC, any boss, any enemy. You can spawn it in front of you. You can put yourself in God mode so they can't kill you. And then once you have spawned these characters, you can instantly kill them by clicking a kill all NPC button.
What?
And they'll all die in front of you, and you get all the trophies for killing those bosses. So on Friday night, I think it was, I boot up the game, and after an hour, I have all of the trophies except for one. I've brought up all the bosses, and I've killed them using the admin powers that be. And the only one I have left is you have to stand on someone's head and kill them. And I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to do this? And this is the original reason why Paolo sent me a message, because he's like, I can't do this on my own. You have to have a friend get online and do it with you. So we joined a game together, and then we proceeded to jump on top of each other's heads. And then using the admin controls, we over-encumbered ourselves. And then when our characters were over-encumbered, we automatically crush the person below us, and it kills them. And then once you kill them doing that, you get a trophy, got the platinum trophy, and that is how I got easily the worst platinum trophy in the history of trophies. Platinum trophies. So, Pat, if you're interested...
I want to get it. I kind of want to get it now.
Still have the game.
I want to see all this.
So
I smell platinum number 14.
Now, the one thing I do want to mention is the other thing that threw me off of this game. It's 70 gigs to download this game. And that is like...
I have it.
You have 70 available?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I
I have it downloaded. I'm all set.
Oh, are you? Sweet.
Yep.
I actually got the platinum, and then Paolo was like, I am deleting this game. And I first thought, yeah, I'm going to delete it too. And then I thought, I wonder if Pat will want to get this cheesy trophy with me. So I got you, brother. I still got the game on my system, so I will let you jump on top of my head and crush me.
Okay.
It's good times.
Wow.
So this is a co-op game?
It can be, yeah. It's kind of like have you ever seen the Diablo games? Like, yeah. So it's like that, except it's like third person. It's not top down or anything. It's behind you. It's like you can build a structure, and it's set in the Conan universe where there's like mythical beings and crazy people running around, people in loincloths fighting each other, and all that jazz. So,
all right.
Yep. So there you go. Yeah, get some music going. But other than that, with Paolo, I did also play some of the Overwatch co-op events where you kind of run around and fight robots and fight different things. You have like these little mini stories. I don't know, Patrick or Mark, if you guys have done those before. But I did that this past weekend also. I think I'd never done any before, and you can do.
Yeah,
there's
I
like
did those with the
three
shoulder.
of them. Yeah, there's like 3 of them. So I did all 3 of them with Paolo, except the third one. We didn't realize there were no save points, and we were right at the end, and our group just like totally screwed up, and we died, and we were not willing to do it all over again. So we never finished the third one, but did the first 2, and they were fun. So that was just a different way to do Overwatch. We enjoyed it. Outside of gaming, as you guys have already mentioned, it was Easter weekend, and for me, Easter weekend was kind of I had a love-hate relationship with Easter weekend, mainly because my wife got sick, and she got sick like hardcore. She got done with school on Thursday, and while we were driving home, she's like, I think I'm losing my voice. By Thursday night, she had lost her voice. And then by Friday morning, she felt like she had gotten hit by a truck. And so, like, this whole weekend, she has been fighting. You know, we got a 4-day weekend because we got Friday off because of Good Friday, and then we got Monday off because of another holiday here in Brazil. But it just made it rough because she was kind of operating at like 50% power most of the time. And so, we had a number of different services and different activities over the weekend. So half of them I went by myself, and then the other half of the time, like during our Sunday school class, I looked over at her and she started like turning almost white. And then at the end of the Sunday school class, she was like, I almost passed out in the middle of Sunday school class. I'm like, we have got to go home because you need rest. So she's been resting this whole weekend. But leading up to Easter, I finished out Lent, and like I told you guys before, my goal was to only play video games with other people, to not play alone, and to also use less of my screen on my phone. And I will say that I was successful on the gaming front, and I pretty much over the past month and a half only played games with other people. It was pretty fun most of the time. I will say I stayed up a lot later than I like to play games with Sheldor, to play Overwatch with people, but it was cool. I played a lot more games with my kids, and it was fun. On the other hand, I had a lot of trouble like cutting myself off from the phone, mainly just because like it's just the way I communicate with everybody, like whether it's through texting or it's through Discord, talking to people straight up on Twitter. It was tough, but even in it all, like even though I kind of failed during Lent to not stay away from my screen all the time, it still was a good reminder that I need to live in God's strength, and that on my own I just kind of do whatever I want, but through Him I can be better, and I can focus more on others, focus more on Him. And so by the time I got to Easter weekend, I was ready to celebrate, ready to just enjoy that time with family. And other than my wife being sick, it was a really great time. One thing that was really special was on Sunday night, our church gave all the families like little communion kits, like with a little bit of bread and a little bit of juice, grape juice. And so my family and I, with just my wife and my kids, we had a little mini communion service in our house at our kitchen table. And we talked to our kids. Both of our kids have both said that, they trust in God. They believe in Jesus as their Savior and Lord. And so we said, in church, you need to be baptized to take communion. But here at home with Mommy and Daddy, we can have this time. And we taught them about the symbolism of the bread and the wine. It was really cool. And I will say that one thing that also made the weekend special was especially coming off of our faith episode that we did last week. I have to say that after we recorded on Wednesday night, I was really kind of emotionally charged in a good way. It really just got me in the right mindset for the weekend of just celebrating Christ, of celebrating Easter. I was overwhelmed not just with the fact that we got to share our testimonies and share our faith, but just the response of the community, and getting to talk with different people after the fact, talking with Barnaby and talking with Travis, and, messaging some people and just kind of initiating that faith conversation. It was just such a blessing. It was humbling, and it really just kind of put me in the right mindset to celebrate Easter weekend. And I don't know. I just am glad that we have this opportunity to just share life together. We've talked about it on a number of episodes, how we always want to connect with the people that listen to us and everything else. And this weekend was just another good example of how that's possible. So it was really cool that even though we all have different kind of outlooks on religion, on faith, on what it looks like, we can all talk together and we can all challenge each other, and we don't have to judge each other. And I think it was quite obvious in how things went down with our episode last week, and talking with people on the Discord and on Twitter and stuff. So I really enjoyed that, and I really appreciated that conversation that we initiated. Did you guys have that same kind of feeling with it?
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool because some of the stories and views from our community that they shared, some of it was personal, and actually a lot of it was personal. And like you said, having that conversation, no judgment, just a conversation, because it's if you think your opinion is always right, then you're going to shut yourself off from listening to others. And just listening and having that conversation, it was really cool that there was a lot of people shared their stories, a lot more than I thought, because sometimes it's hard, talking about that kind of stuff. So it was really cool.
Well, with this new week and this new episode, we are continuing to talk about superheroes. Last week we talked about the superhero for some of us, Jesus Christ. We celebrated Easter, the time when he did the most heroic thing anyone could ever do, dying for others and dying for us, and coming to life again. And in this week, we are continuing the superhero discussion, just in a less serious fashion, because we have another big event, folks, coming our way. This coming, I think, Thursday. Is that right? Thursday night. Mm-hmm. Thursday for some. Actually, if you live in China, it's Tuesday for the lucky billions that live there. Avengers Endgame is upon us.
Actually, the premiere is tonight.
Is the premiere tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I think tomorrow the whatever it's called, I don't know, the
Tuesday,
the time limit to when you can review
the
embargo. Thank you. Ding,
oh
ding,
my
ding.
goodness, are you serious? That's tomorrow.
The embargo lifts tomorrow.
Everyone,
so
get on Twitter
and everybody's
block
off the
all
internet.
that
hands on
stuff.
deck. You better put those. You better put those blocks on Twitter and all your social medias, buddy, because stuff is going to be flying out. I think it's like 3:00 tomorrow.
Oh man, my daughter, she is on her phone. She does this like TikTok thing, and she's we told her that when we were growing up, we didn't get phones till we were like 17, 18 years old, and she was like appalled by that.
That was partially because they were just invented, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So, well, I mean, it was for the consumer, like those like old Nokia unbreakable ones. So when she heard that, she's like, "Okay, and we were telling her all the things that we had to do when we were young without phones. And so she's like, "Okay, I'm not going to touch my phone for 3 days." And I think I might do the same thing for reasons not to go play outside, not to go outside and enjoy the nice weather. I just don't want to get spoiled from Avengers.
Run away!
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's going to be about the only way to totally avoid spoilers, is to shut your phone off and just don't even use the internet on your computer even. Like, just go outside.
Mortal Kombat for the next 3 days.
Just play Mortal Kombat offline. Just play Mortal Kombat offline. You'll be fine.
Yep.
So with that leads us with that idea in mind. We thought it would be perfect to have a topic of all things MCU, and so I think we just need to jump right in. Would you agree?
Excelsior.
right, so as we said, we are just days away from Avengers Endgame. It has been 10 crazy years, 20 plus movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I want to just go back for a quick second. Have you guys been following from the beginning? We kind of know a little bit of Ronnie's story because he's a little more contemporary with things. But for those that are listening maybe for the first time, have you guys been following this from the beginning? Have you been all in from the beginning? What's been your MCU pathway to this wondrous occasion this coming weekend?
Oh, absolutely. I have been on this since day one.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed. Same here.
Yep.
I enjoy all things superhero, and so back in 2008, when Iron Man came out, I was full speed ahead for that. Even though Iron Man was kind of like a lesser known Marvel character, I mean, he still had his own comics and stuff, but he wasn't as up there as like Spider-Man or whatever. But I still watched like the cartoons growing up. Like they had a 90s Iron Man cartoon. So when they started putting out, Iron Man, Captain America and stuff like that, yeah, I was definitely on board, especially when it started to really collect itself as a shared universe.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So, yep.
Yeah, same here. I knew I didn't read comics when I was younger. The only superheroes I really knew were Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, all the really
all the
big
mans.
Ones. Yeah, all the mans.
Spider-Man.
And so I didn't know anything. So I went into Iron Man. I'm like, who is Iron Man? I know nothing about this person or this superhero and who's the villains are. And
yeah, I mean,
who all side characters are.
Iron's not even that strong of a metal. I mean, why wouldn't he be Platinum Man or Diamond Man? Jinx.
He'd blind everybody.
So, I saw that movie and I was like, man, this is pretty sweet. And then like Marc said, this was going to be a shared universe. It wasn't going to be like a trilogy of movies. This was going to be a movie that was going to be in this whole universe, which was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And
totally.
Now, I mean, like with what Marvel has done and with sharing universes, like there's a lot of different franchises that are doing the same thing because of the success of Marvel. Now, they don't do it as well as Marvel has.
Nope.
Now, has anyone else really pulled it off? Like, I only know if DC has tried, and
Final Destination did it.
Final Destination. Yes, the greatest crossover event.
Yeah, I don't know. WCW and
NWO?
WWF, maybe?
WWF? How long has it not been WWF? It's been like
at least 10, 15 years.
10, 15 years. But yeah, no, I know for me, I read X-Men comics back in the day. I of course knew the Batman movies, and so I knew I liked those things, but I never got really hardcore into them, and so I didn't have a lot of knowledge of them. Like you, Patrick, I was like, Iron Man. Who is this Iron Man? And then Iron Man. And then I was like, I remember thinking like Thor, and I'm like, Thor? He's like this long-haired blonde. Ooh, look at me. I'm so beautiful. Like, I was just like, come on, what is this? And then Captain America. I've never liked Captain America. Like, he was like...
The only exposure I ever got to Thor was from Adventures in Babysitting.
Yes, Adventures in Babysitting, yes.
That's the only...
That's a terrible example. That was the only one I had, too. I forgot about that. But then Captain America, like, I've always seen him as, like, a Boy Scout, and I don't know, the comics that I read with him in them, I didn't like him because he's always like, oh, we got to do this because it's the right thing to do, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, okay, you're a little too much hero. You need to, like, have a little bit of an attitude. Like, back in the day, I was a huge Wolverine fan, and I kind of liked a little bit of that anti-hero, where they kind of took the bad route or the more exciting route, where Captain America was like, by the book, don't break the rules, etc. So like when they were announcing all these different characters, and I'm like, really? And I'm like, X-Men's already cool. You know, they had already had some X-Men movies, or they had all of them, I think, at that point. Of course, that, you know, by the third X-Men, they had kind of driven that into the ground. And then, I mean, of course, Spider-Man 2. Yeah. Spider-Man 1 and 2, amazing. Then Spider-Man 3, again, just rub it into the ground, just destroy it. And so I would have to say that I went in cautious, but cautiously optimistic, you know, especially once I saw Iron Man. Once I saw Iron Man and that kind of set that tone, it was like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is well done. And I don't think it really clicked with me, though, until I watched The Avengers, like the first one, and how all the movies just kind of melded into that one movie. And I'm like, why has no one done this before? Like, made these cinematic universes. Like, it is such a, I don't think anyone's ever really done it to this level before, have they?
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's
not
just,
well.
It's just sequels. It's like
Yeah,
boom,
not
boom,
well.
boom.
That's a
Yeah, it's like
caveat
sequels.
there.
It's not like 3-4 different trails leading to, you know, Avengers movie. And now they have so many trails and so many characters, and it's amazing they're able to keep it all up and keep it going the right direction. But speaking of the characters, the heroes, the villains, do you guys have some favorites that you want to give a shout out to?
My favorite of all the MCU movies
Yeah. Who is it?
is Luis. From
Ant-Man? Yeah, I was going to say it's Ant-Man, right? The one that talks really fast. It's like, and then this guy told my friend, and he said, hey, man, what are you doing? Let's go to the store. Is that Luis?
Oh man, every time he's on screen, I'm like, yes, this is great.
Luis.
He's my favorite. He's not a superhero or a villain, but he is my favorite character of all the MCUs.
All right. Fair enough.
Nice. Favorite MCU superhero would have to be Spider-Man, for sure.
Yeah.
I was so happy when Marvel and Sony were finally able to work it out and to be able to use the movie rights for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
To get him in there, because of the fact that he's not been rebooted once, but twice. And both, like you said, Spider-Man 1 and 2 back in the early 2000s, they were good. I personally liked The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
I also did. I didn't mention
doing.
that, but yeah, I agree with you on that.
But it was just nice to have the MCU's take on Spider-Man. They put him back in high school because that's where, honestly, he's the most interesting. Because he's this kid dealing with high school normal kid problems, and then on top of that, he's a superhero, and going around with the Avengers and stuff. So I was so glad to have him in this universe, and he's very true to form. For sure.
So true to form, true to the comics,
yeah,
like to a T.
But obviously, they've modernized some things about aspects of his universe,
right?
One example being Aunt May.
Being attractive. Yeah.
Although it makes sense because Marissa Tomei, I think, is in like her 50s. And Tom Holland, I think, is like 19 or something like that. So it's believable that he is her nephew. But, you know, Aunt May has always been portrayed as this like really old lady, like grandma type aunt. And so it's interesting to see that dynamic.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know for me, Spider-Man 2 not Spider-Man 2 the movie, but Spider-Man also has been a character that I've really, Tom Holland has just captured his character so well. I mean, back in the day, I did like, what is his name? I'm blanking on his name.
Tobey Maguire?
Tobey Maguire. I wanted to say Topher Grace. I'm like, that's definitely not it. That's Venom.
Nope.
No, thank you. But Tobey Maguire, he kind of got the look and kind of the innocent attitude approach to it, but he just was so clueless. And I'm like, no, Spider-Man's always had street smarts. And then in The Amazing Spider-Man, he was way too emo. So like he was always like, one second he was happy-go-lucky, and the next second he was like, I'm so depressed right now. I've never seen my parents or seen them since I was this age, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think Tom Holland has such a great balance between his serious side, and he is always telling jokes, like joke, but in a good way, does it well. And I love his introduction to the MCU in Civil War. Like in Captain America Civil War, and they introduce him under ruse, and he goes head-to-head, toe-to-toe with people. Like when he gets Winter Soldier's arm, and is just like, oh, what is this made of? And this is a really cool arm you got here. Like that is so comical. I love that so much. The other one that I really connect with character-wise that surprises me, because, I mentioned earlier that I did not like Captain America in the comics, is Chris Evans as Captain America. Like his tried and true, like being a good superhero, but having heart. Like I think that's what Captain America lacked in the comics, was he was all about doing the right thing, but it never felt like he put his heart into it. And I feel like Captain America in the MCU, he still wants to take the honorable, the good route, but he lets his heart guide him, and I feel like he's the heart of the Avengers. Like I can't wait to see how he and Tony's relationship develops, and I think they're kind of reuniting in Endgame finally is going to be one of the keys. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I don't want to get ahead into Endgame yet, but I just really like Chris Evans' portrayal of Captain America and everything he represents. So that's one of my characters too. How about you, Ronnie? You got a favorite?
Peter Quill.
Star-Lord.
Yes. I think I like him. I always tend to go back to the characters that are more like real individuals. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the main reasons I liked Iron Man so much. I think because obviously he's not a normal character. Like he's like the smartest man in the world, like technology wise. But no, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies with so Quill in the movies is like, I feel like kind of like if one of us were in that universe,
right?
Just the stuff that he does. Like the funniest thing, like throughout the two movies, is like, okay, he should definitely be dead at least 100 times by now, right? And he's kind of still arrogant about it, but so that's I really connected with that.
Nice. Well, we had some others in our Discord community that wanted to share their favorite characters. RaginManiak, one of our newer members of the Discord and a very active member, he said Thor is one of my favorite characters. Personally, I think his character arc is the best of all the characters. Starts out as a kid, very cocky, wannabe king of Asgard, then arcs into a true hero and dang near defeats Thanos. I have to say, RaginManiak, going back and watching all these over again, like watching Thor 1 was painful. I don't know if you guys have watched it recently, but his portrayal of Thor is very true to the comics and very true to why I didn't like Thor to begin with. Like he's very cocky, very full of himself. It looks like they dipped his eyebrows in bleach for two days. Like it looks awful. Like his character and everything is awful. But his by Thor Ragnarok, like definitely Thor is in my top 3, top 5 characters, Avengers for sure. Like he's just really cool. So I'm with you on that. Ash Ingram said, my favorite superhero has always been Spider-Man. I just love the character and boyish, geeky charm. I'm one of the few that actually enjoyed the Tobey Maguire movies. Andy Garfield was okay, still loved the movies, but Tom Holland, he's such a likable guy. Super excited for Endgame. Not entirely sure about predicting what's going to happen without spoiling Infinity War for those who haven't seen it, so I'm going to stay hush on that topic. I will tell you, it is weird to see Karen Gillian on the big screen, considering she and I went to school together. Happy for her, though, for all that she's done for herself. From a girl from Inverness, Scotland, to being in Doctor Who, to being Nebula in Guardians and Avengers. It's pretty awesome. So shout out to Karen Gillian. Gillen. Thank you. Obviously, Karen was not my friend in high school because I cannot pronounce her last name. But that's really cool. We have a friend of a celebrity. Cool. So nice. Let's see. Matt, a.k.a. Arctic Warlocks, he said, Doctor Strange is my favorite character. Although he could have taken care of Thanos single-handedly in Infinity War all by himself by making a quick portal opening and closing it really fast, thus cutting Thanos in half. Case closed. Job's done. His superpower abilities are so mystical, man. Ability to manipulate time, dimensional travel, conjuring of objects, astral projection, flight, teleportation, and spells. Also, my dad and uncle have a huge comic book collection, and they had the first issue of Doctor Strange. So that's also why I like him.
Wow, that's
Nice.
cool.
That's really cool, for sure. And yeah, when you list all those things that he can do, that is a lot of stuff. And he probably could have beaten Thanos single-handedly. But
But he didn't.
will we know? Who knows? Travis Popsicle.
Will we know? Who knows?
Who knows?
All right.
It's what happens when you're working with that time gem stone thing. Travis Popsicle said, favorite character is probably Spider-Man, mostly because of the humor. Never takes things too serious, kind of like myself. He does have a question randomly for us. With Stan Lee passing recently, what is your favorite cameo that he has done? You guys have a favorite Stan Lee cameo?
So, I'm going to go to Thor: The Dark World on this one. He was in that nursing home, or was it psychiatric nursing home or something like that, where that scientist is trying to explain how worlds are colliding or something like that. I can't remember what he was talking about.
Okay.
But his props were shoes. And then Stan Lee's at one of the tables, and he just turns to the scientist. He's like, "Can I have my shoe back?"
I don't remember that one.
That's because it's
hilarious.
Thor: The Dark
Oh,
World.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bottom of the list.
So I actually, obviously watching the first half of Black Panther. So his little cameo in that movie is he is at like a blackjack table or something, some type of casino table, and the Black Panther character walks up and like wins money, and then Stan Lee basically reaches over, grabs the money. He's like, "I'm just gonna slide this over this way for safekeeping," and he's like sliding it into his own pile.
It's like dishonest guy.
Oh, man. The one that's coming to mind at the moment is actually in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I want to say. It's either one. No, it's one. Where he is the librarian in the school library, and he's got the headphones on, and he's just dusting away, all that kind of stuff. And there's this huge battle in the background between Spider-Man and I believe
Lizard?
it was Lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. He's totally oblivious.
Totally oblivious.
I think the one that makes me laugh out loud the most is the one where I can't remember which one this is. I think it might be Civil War, but it's where he's a FedEx guy, I think, or UPS, and he delivers a package.
Yes, that's the other
and
one.
he's like, "I got a package for a Tony Stank."
Tony Stank's right here. That's him right here.
Tony Stank right here. Oh,
Tony
that one makes me laugh every time, because it's just like his timing, and just, he's just like the sweetest old man, and then he just says some off the wall stuff. It's awesome.
I think Captain Marvel's kind of affected me, especially because it was the first one after he had passed away.
Yeah, that's true.
And just the fact that he's sitting there reading the script for Mallrats on the train.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
That was such a subtle cameo. I really like that too.
Yeah, she just pulls the thing down and she smiles at him, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And he's only got one more cameo. Endgame is his final cameo.
I thought there's not one from Far From Home.
No.
Oh, really? I thought I'd
There
heard
will
there
be.
was.
No, the
There's gonna be
Russos
something.
basically, Feige said, this is it.
Here's my thought.
Endgame.
If they can, I don't know. Part of me wants them to do the stuff like they've done with Star Wars and other movies where they just computer generate. Like, I just think it's a crime that he's not going to be in movies after a certain point. Like, I don't know. Find a way to
Yeah, but I almost think that
to get
makes
him
it
in
more
there.
special, like him not being in any further, like his last cameo being in Endgame, like that.
Maybe.
I think it kind of makes it special.
But yeah, that was so cool that they got him to be a part of all those movies. And like beyond the MCU, I mean, he was in all the Spider-Man movies, right? And,
Oh yeah, he's
he was
been
in
doing
that.
it since like the 70s
Venom.
and 80s.
like making
been doing
cameos and
like
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. One more favorite character from the Illusive Man, Los. He said, Thor. I see myself as Hulk, as bad as that may sound. I'm calm, I'm cool, and smart when I'm level-headed, but just don't get me angry. But Thor is my favorite character for many reasons. RaginManiak pretty much hit it on the head. His arc is the best in all of the MCU. So, we've watched lots of movies. At least 3 of us have seen all 20 plus movies, and another person is, who we will not name, is working on seeing all 20 plus movies. But based on what we have seen, wanted to talk about, before we get into Endgame talk, I wanted to get into our top 5 movies, MCU movies. And we'll just start with number 5. Now, I will say, before we get into it, I think we can all agree that this is, one, it's not an easy list to form. And 2, just because there's movies on this list doesn't mean they stink. I'm pretty sure, at least on my part, there's only one movie out of all 21, or I think it's 21 movies, that I don't really care to have. I don't really ever need to see it again. But all the other movies, to me, like, there's not a lot of margin between 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 20. Like, they're all, I enjoy all of them in one shape or form. So can we all agree in some shape or form on that we're not talking like really negative about not including stuff? It's just the 5 movies that we enjoy, that we love, that we could repeat to watch, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, from top to bottom, I mean, like, there's I think, to me, there's 3 tiers. There's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And tier 1's my top 5. Tier 2 is like 15 movies that I can't really rank because they're so similar.
Yeah.
And then the bottom 5 is, not the greatest movies in the MCU, but they're still good. They're still good enough to be rewatchable.
Right. And I think it helps that, like we talked about, pretty much all the movies play into the main movies. So there's always like a vested interest that I feel like not levitates, that raises up the quality of maybe a bad movie, but because it's connected to like Avengers, or it's connected to a bigger plot point, it makes it feel better. It's like, okay, this still is playing into something bigger than just this movie by itself. So with that being said, Marc, you had something else. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, basically my list is malleable, meaning like I can change it at any time. My number 1 could be something else at any point, because I mean, I think for me a lot of them are interchangeable now. And the other thing is like, even on the point that Pat was kind of making, the worst Marvel movie is still a really good movie. So, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There was one movie that Lucas didn't mention that he would not watch again. What was that, Hulk?
Yep.
Okay, let me take that back. The worst MCU movie is still a good movie.
Isn't that MCU, though?
It's considered MCU. It's, even though it's
not.
not.
Oh, you're talking about the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk.
The Ed Norton Incredible Hulk, the one where Tony Stark he pops in at the after credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking the Banner Hulk.
Oh, dear goodness, no.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Hulk dogs. Go ahead.
I just said I'm going to disagree with all of you guys. This is the easiest list I've ever had to make.
How many did you have to choose from? 7?
7.5.
Oh, right. Nice.
21.
Fair enough. Well, with that, let's get into our top 5. Let's start with number 5. What do you guys have? We can go in any order. Just name them out. What do you have as your number 5 movie of the MCU?
Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok. Now,
nice.
Do you want to, if you guys also have it ranked, do you want to mention where it's ranked in your list, or only stick with number 5? Would it get confusing?
Let's just stick with number
All
5,
right.
and then we'll find
Number
out.
5, Thor Ragnarok. What makes that number 5 for you, Patrick? Like, just a short.
It was the music to almost every single battle was just perfect. It's just perfect.
Battle and music. Nice.
My number 5 is Civil War. And that's because You'll find that a lot of and I guess this is kind of a hint of what's to come. A lot of my favorite MCU movies are basically Avengers movies, and even though it was called Captain America: Civil War, it was basically an Avengers movie.
I agree.
I still think of it as an Avengers movie. Like when people are like, Infinity War is Avengers 3, I'm like, no, it's not. It's like Avengers 4 or 5 at least.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, it very much kept along with, the whole saga of Cap and Bucky and that whole situation of the Winter Soldier stuff. So it was a Captain America movie, but like pretty much all of the Avengers were involved. I think Thor and Hulk were not there.
Right.
But yeah, and first introduction of Spider-Man to the MCU. So
Yeah, that was cool.
Good choice. How about you, Ronnie?
I went with
5.
Infinity War. And I actually feel like this would be probably higher on my list, but
If you knew what was happening.
yeah, if I knew what was happening, the action was great. But I just didn't. I didn't know enough backstory, I think, to really appreciate it.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, I'm gonna go with Spider-Man: Homecoming. I think as I've shared in the past, Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes, like overall, and especially more currently. And I just really like, I just like the mix of comedy, action. He's a very imperfect hero. Like he screws up a lot, but he does it in such a graceful way. Like, a lot of superhero flicks, like when they mess up, they get angry at themselves or they get angry at someone else. And he so very rarely gets angry with anyone. He's just like, oh man, I better try again. And he just keeps trying. So and I think on top of that too, Keaton surprised me as a villain. Like when they announced that it was going to be Vulture as the villain in that, I was like, Vulture? Really? But I think between Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man and Keaton, that's why I put it at number 5. How about number 4? What you got? This time we'll start with Marc. We'll mix it up a bit. Marc, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Volume 1.
Yes, and for several different reasons.
4 reasons?
The cast... Oh, go ahead. Say that.
No, I said for 4 reasons.
4 reasons, yes.
This is number 4.
No, the cast was great. The comedy in it is hilarious. It's a very accessible movie, even though they like go to all sorts of different planets. I feel like it's accessible enough and fun for anybody, those who aren't necessarily MCU or Marvel fans can enjoy this movie because of the comedy and because of the cast. And the soundtrack was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of just great music, and they incorporated it into the plot of the movie, which was even better. So, yeah, definitely on my top 5.
Yeah, every time I hear, I totally blanked on the song. The one he sings, you holding the rats at the beginning of the movie.
Come and Get Your Love?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to find a rat and sing into its face anytime I hear that song. Hey, what you gonna do? Yeah. I wouldn't be able to sing it correctly, but I would find that rat and pretend. Come and get your love. All right. Number 4, Ronnie.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Ooh.
I see a theme here.
Yeah, I think this one, obviously, I only have 7.5 to choose from, so there's that.
What are you going to do?
I like in this one because everything they built in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, like they brought back a lot of that similar comedy that everybody loved. I mean, even the way it starts off, right? They're fighting that thing, like Rocket's like trying to fix the thing up. He's trying to fix the radio up or whatever. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Quill likes music when we're doing our thing or whatever." And he's like, "No," he's like, "No, I don't." He's like, "Oh, it's fine." He's like, "Okay, Quill," and he's like winking at him.
Yeah.
He's like, "I get it." And he's like, "No, seriously." Just like that
Yeah.
awkward comedy, like they brought everything back, a lot of the same stuff. So
Nice. Patrick?
Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Oh,
Nice.
hey. Doubled up there.
I mean, just like what Mark said, the comedy, the music, the cast, Groot and Raccoon are just so great. Star-Lord, Peter Quill. I mean, everybody in that is just so hilarious, and is very accessible. Like Mark said, like it's another one of those movies. I knew nothing about these characters, and this movie made me love them, and it's just fantastic.
Nice. My number 4, some have said, is the Guardians of the Galaxy of the United States of America, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, that's fake news. It's not the Guardians of the Galaxy of the United States of America. But no, my number 4 is Captain America: Winter Soldier. I like how they took a comic book movie, they threw the formula out, and they made a spy thriller instead. And they totally just went a different route, and I did not see it coming. I was waiting for like this, because if you've seen Captain America, the First Avenger, like it's very much just your typical hero flick. I will say that after watching it again this time around, when I watched all the MCU movies, I liked it more. But at the same time, it was still just kind of like it was just like, okay, this is a hero flick. It's following all the beats and doing all the things that it's supposed to do. But Winter Soldier it felt different, and it was like a spy thriller, and there were twists and turns, and I just really enjoyed that. I kind of have a soft spot for like Mission Impossible kind of flicks, and so I really enjoyed that one. So, all right, number 3, Ronnie, what you got?
Doctor Strange. So this is the most recent full movie that I've watched. I love the origin story of Doctor Strange and how they explained everything. And the movie was it was bizarre. Like just to watch all the manipulation and stuff of like the universe. Like it was just, it wasn't like really anything I'd ever seen before.
Yeah. How about them hands inside of hands inside of hands?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That is my wife and I's not least favorite, but the most like,
it was creepy. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Patrick, how about you?
Number 3 for me is Captain America: Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the Accords and them battling and picking sides. Ant-Man getting 50, 60 feet tall. That battle was awesome.
Have you ever seen that old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, like Mark said, it was a mini Avengers movie. It could have been called Avengers Civil War instead of Captain America Civil War for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, having all the heroes battling against each other was absolutely one of my favorite movies.
Cool. Mark?
Nice. My number 3 is Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
This is the OG Marvel movie that started the whole MCU. Obviously, the fact that Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark / Iron Man, like one of the best castings ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
yeah,
for sure.
He is Tony Stark for not just this movie, but like several movies throughout the MCU, outside of his own movies. Obviously Avengers movies, The Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Right.
All of those feature a bunch of cameos from Iron Man, and so this is the one that started it all. They did a great job with the story, and introducing his world, introducing the Avengers Initiative, and the whole start of that. It was just, they did a real great job with that, and really brought Iron Man to the forefront of, A-list superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely needs to make the list.
Cool. Well, my number 3 is Thor Ragnarok. I think this is partially because Thor and Thor: The Dark World just are in such contrast to this movie. Like, this should not be a comedy. you get the beginning and Thor's, talking in his old English sort of way, and then all of a sudden he makes a joke, and then like the jokes do not stop, and it's like they took the joke approach that Guardians of the Galaxy had, and then they just applied it to a character that shouldn't be that way, and just his comedic timing and just the whole movie, bringing the Hulk back in, their relationship, just everything about that movie just makes me laugh so hard, and just the relationship between Thor and Loki. I just love that movie. It makes me laugh, just in the same way that Guardians, makes us laugh as well. And I just loved it so much.
Going back to the Stan Lee cameos, the Stan Lee cameo for this movie when he is cutting Thor's hair with that.
Oh my gosh, he's just
saw.
like, it's like all this thing and surround. Don't cut my hair, don't cut my hair, and he cuts his hair.
That was good.
But I was gonna say, and I think after Thor: The Dark World and just the meh direction they took that in, this Thor Ragnarok was a breath of fresh air.
It really was,
for sure.
I think with Thor: The Dark World, it was almost like they almost went down a path of taking themselves too seriously. Like they had this whole thing going on where it's just like, okay, this is funny, but it's not supposed to be funny. And so then they just turned it on its head and made Thor Ragnarok. And that's got to be one of the biggest 180 degrees turn for a character's arc. And it is a really cool arc for him to finally just not take himself seriously and just yet take things seriously at the same time as Thor. So cool. All right. So number 2, Patrick, you want to lead with that?
Avengers Infinity War is number 2. I think it was because it's a movie that is, other than Endgame, led up to this point. And there is all the characters are in it. There is just like back and forth. There's multiple villains. There is heroes that are meeting each other for the first time. Thor getting onto the what is their ship?
Milano?
The Guardians ship. And when Star-Lord starts talking like Thor.
Yeah. Or Drax starts saying he's an angel pirate.
I mean, like there's just like so many parts in that movie where it was just funny. There was a lot of action. Thanos is like a really, really cool villain. You see like why he's doing what he's doing, even it's like a backwards way of doing it. You have like it's not just a villain doing bad things. There's a reason behind what he's doing. It's a movie that I have watched more than any. I would say any movie. I would say this is probably the second most movie I've watched in the MCU universe.
Other than your number one.
Other than my number one, for sure. I had a little caveat there, but yeah, it is just, even though it's a long movie, it's one of the longer ones, I think. I could watch that over and over again.
It's about to get beat.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see.
Yep.
Ronnie, how about you? What's number 2?
Number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Nice.
Like these guys said, man, just like the comedy throughout the whole movie, like the characters kind of meshing together. And it was awesome.
Cool. Mark?
My number 2 is also Avengers Infinity War. And I think it's because, honestly, like, this movie, basically, it's where the stakes have really come to a head.
Did you say steak?
This isn't the good kind of steak. The Avengers are faced with a huge problematic situation. And I'm trying to not be spoilerific at all. But yeah, it's a very rough situation that they get into, especially with Thanos and the culmination of his quest, if you will. And it's fun, and it's like a whole bunch of characters that and they make it work, and it's just the culmination of a bunch of movies, and it's very heavy in nature, especially with its ending, especially going into Avengers Endgame. So, yeah, it's intense, and so that's why it's my number 2, and there's only one, honestly, that can beat it.
Well, my number 2 is Captain America's Civil War. I don't know. I think for me, the development of Captain America and Iron Man's relationship is the centerpiece of this. Like you guys have already mentioned everything about it that I totally agree with. The introduction to Spider-Man, the fight in Germany at the airport, all the heroes fighting each other, even if they're pulling their punches, just getting to see like Ant-Man get real big and all that stuff. But for me, it's just the shock of the triangle between Winter Soldier, Captain America, and Iron Man, and just how that all unfolds, and the drama and the tension and the emotion that kind of goes into that, and how that affects the relationship. The different take on the Accords, and then also the different take on Captain America's kind of reasoning behind the direction he goes with the Accords. Like, all of that plays into, they used enough of the comic books to be true to where everybody sits, but at the same time, I feel like they made it better than the comic books. They made a just a top story of not just superheroes, but of like character development and hero development in Civil War. So I loved it. Now we come to our number 1. So number 1. I'm gonna go ahead and give my number 1 because I haven't gone first yet. And you guys have already mentioned my number 1, which is Avengers Infinity War. And the reason I have 2 main reasons that Avengers Infinity War is my number 1. The first reason is Thanos. To me, he is the best villain in the history of villains in terms of depth. Like, he's not just being evil to be evil. He's not just like the second or third time I watched it, I was like, I kind of agree with Thanos, like not in terms of how he's doing it, but it's just like his mindset of like, in a universe, in a fictitious universe where, would just say that God's not a factor. Like, we have all these superheroes, we have all these aliens, we have all these things happening. Like, what he wants to accomplish is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, how he's doing it is terrible, but the fact that he is trying to prune the universe so that it can flourish and survive, I'm like, that's not really that bad. I mean, obviously it is bad because of the way he's doing it and it senses violence, but it's just the way they portray it. And then on top of that, his relationship with his adopted daughter Gamora, and the only person that he loves, and all the sacrifice and all the things that go into that is just like, I don't know, I care for the character. Like, he's not just like a guy I want them to beat. Like, I feel for him. And for them to pull that off with a villain, to me, is just, it's amazing. Like, it's just,
he's not.
It just blows me away.
He's not your
that
typical,
they were able to do it.
Yep. Yeah, he's not your typical mustache twirling.
No, I'm not saying I want to do
man.
that. I'm not saying it's okay to do that. I'm just saying the way they portray it in a fictitious world, I'm like, man, they just do a good job with this character. And I don't remember what the second reason is.
He's your favorite superhero?
He's my favorite villain. He's definitely not a superhero. And I definitely don't want him to win. But that's the other thing, is the second thing that makes it my number 1 is his So,
spoilers.
I love that.
I was trying to stay away from that,
but I didn't say the nature of win and loss, and I didn't even say what he was going to be doing. So,
when you were talking about Empire Strikes Back, I thought you were going to go to the route where he was someone's father. Like, I am Tony Stark's father.
Somebody lost a hand.
That's hilarious. So,
my number 1 is the original Avengers, the first Avengers movie. And it is just a solid movie through and through. having the original, what is it? Is it six Avengers?
Yes. Kind of.
You got Thor, Black Widow, Iron Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, and Hulk. How many is that?
That's 6.
12.
It's 12.
Cut that in half.
42. No, but having the original 6 Avengers just coming together as a team for the first time, like just that iconic shot where they do that kind of like circle around when they're about to fight in the Battle of New York.
Oh yeah,
that's just a classic, just superhero shot.
Yeah, it was.
And just the story was done so well, and it proved that you could have that many main characters in a movie and have it work. Now, obviously, they did it even better with Infinity War, but this was the real starting ground.
Yeah.
For being able to have that many main characters in a movie and make it work. And it was just cool to see them come together for the first time. So,
all right. Can't be mad at that. So, Patrick and Ronnie, do you want to say your number ones at the same time?
Iron Man.
Oh, we could do some kind of countdown or something.
1, 2, 3.
Hold on. Start over.
Iron Man.
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 Iron Man. No, yeah. Iron Man, man. Yeah, it was the movie that pretty much started it all. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark made the movie. The way he became Iron Man, he was in that bunker and he was just creating something, big, huge suit. And it was just, he was just doing that in a bunker. He made that suit. And when he comes out of that bunker and he is in that big, huge Hulk Buster like suit, it was just absolutely amazing. The ego that he has, he's better than everyone. He just feels that way. He's smarter than everyone. Just the way just his character is so fantastic. But really, what made me absolutely love the movie is because he wants to be the center of attention. And at the end of the movie, when he's having that press conference and he has a statement that he's going to read, but instead of reading it, he just says, "Yeah, I'm Iron Man." And that's the end of the movie. Just like blew my mind. Like, man, because superheroes, they're usually like behind a mask. You don't want to know their identity. And he does the exact opposite of all superhero movies before. He's like, "Yeah, I am Iron Man." So yeah, that's what really did it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Like, I think that I obviously haven't seen a ton of Marvel movies, but like, man, that origin story of him like building that suit like was so cool. Like, you knew something was going on. Like, when I first watched it, I was like, all right, he's not going to build this missile or whatever he's supposed to actually be building. But no, I thought it was awesome. The funny thing is about that movie is like Tony Stark's character, like you said, like he's arrogant, he's pompous, he's smarter than everybody else, and like you just love him. Normally, like that kind of character, you'd be
right?
like, this guy's awful. But you're just like totally rooting for him the whole time. But yeah, it was such an awesome story.
Nice. Well, you know what? We can't go wrong with any of the picks we've given today. In fact, we weren't the only ones to make picks. People in our Discord community and also some in Twitter gave their 2 cents on their top 5 MCU movies. So I wanted to share with you guys the official GMG Community MCUE Toppy 10 Ranking E. No, that's not what it's called. Stop it.
Wow.
Shut your face, Lucas. No, but I do have the official GMG Community MCU Top 10 ranking because our tastes are so eclectic. It went from 5 to 10. Side note, I got to the end of tallying these up. We had about 11 people submit their top 5 through Discord and Twitter. Between, everybody giving 5 movies each, which should have totaled 55 votes. And I kept getting 56. And I was like, what is going on? It felt like a hanging Chad in Florida all over again. And I was like, I got to fix this. I did finally figure it out. So we had one honorable mention. That would be Iron Man 2. It had one submission for 1 point. Number 10, Captain America, the First Avenger. Number 9, Captain Marvel. Number 8 was 2 movies tied, Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. Number 7, also a tie, Spider-Man Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Number 6, Captain America Winter Soldier. Number 5, Captain America aka Avengers Civil War. Number 4, Thor Ragnarok. Number 3, The Avengers. Number 2, tied, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Iron Man.
I thought this was a top 10. Not top 13.
Yeah, but when they're tied, it counts for just the 2. We're not doing Olympic scoring. And then the number 1 was Avengers Infinity War. So, what do you guys think of that list? Can you get behind that list? Solid list?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, like I said, this whole list of MCU movies is malleable. So honestly, there's really not much of a wrong answer.
Nope, unless someone tries to put Incredible Hulk in the top 20.
Don't mince words. Tell us how you really feel about that movie, Lucas.
So, when it's all said and done, as we approach Endgame, do you think it would be able to easily top into the number 1? Do you think it's going to live up to the hype?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's Marvel. It's going to.
I'd say for me, it's probably going to land 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to land. If it's in the top 3, it's going to be.
Yeah. So, we got it coming up, and VP Barnaby Butters wanted to know, in connection with going to see Endgame, because I think all of us, I haven't mentioned, but within the next week or week and a half, I am also going to be seeing. I think all of us are going to be seeing it in the next week and a half, right?
Yep.
So, when you go see the movie, VP Barnaby Butters wants to know, random question, but not so random this time, do you guys dress up for movie events? I can imagine Marc going as the Caped Crusader, and I'm sure Patrick is full cape mode for any Soups movies. Personally, I just do a t-shirt or hoodie related to the movie. For Endgame, I'm wearing a Thanos t-shirt. So, you guys have any outfits planned to wear for the Endgame premiere?
No, I don't. But when Batman v Superman came out, I wore my Superman Halloween costume.
Nice.
Very nice.
I got looks, but I also got high fives all around.
Now, was this pre Trunk or Treat or after Trunk or Treat that you wore this? Like, was this before the modification?
Oh, no.
Or after?
This is the Junk or
the
Treat costume, right?
Is this the Junk or Treat costume, or was this
Yes, this is the Junk or Treat costume. I don't remember.
Oh, my. Because you might be getting high fives for a reason, my friend. Like, hey, yeah, high five to you.
This is a free show.
Awkward.
Spring break, woo!
Spring break, woo! I probably won't dress up. I do have a Star-Lord t-shirt. I might wear that.
Will it say, we blame you?
I feel like that's a spoiler if I share anything else.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what we're doing.
Marc, you gonna wear anything special?
Honestly, I don't think I've ever really actually cosplayed for a movie event. I've worn shirts, like a Marvel shirt or a Batman shirt or something like that, but I've never gone in costume.
Okay.
And I think that will remain the case for Endgame. I will just wear some sort of a Marvel t-shirt.
I'm with you there. I think the last few times I've gone to see any kind of MCU movie, I've just worn like a Iron Man t-shirt or some kind of nerdy shirt that had a comic book character on it. I'm not a cosplayer. I do not have a Junk or Treat Superman outfit to wear, so Or a junk or treat Spider-Man outfit, I guess I could say, just to pick a different one. I think it would be appropriate if you guys are game to at least spend a few minutes giving any in-game predictions we might think. Now, with that being said, spoilers, if you were worried about that, I think in giving in-game predictions, there does need to be a spoiler warning. Would you agree?
A little bit.
I mean, I personally think that if you listen to this point, you should know that spoilers are just a part of talking about ranking movies and all that stuff. But with that being said, I just wanted to see some of the predictions you guys had. I don't know if you guys saw on the Discord, but Arctic Warlocks had a lot to say about his in-game predictions. So I'm kind of going to let him kind of guide a little bit of the predictions that we talk about. Okay? So,
all right.
Arctic Warlocks first had this to say in regards to in-game predictions. He said, there are several categories of trying to predict things in this movie. You have the who dies and how many in this movie, which I think the over-under is 5. So I'm throwing my educational guesses at Captain America, dead. War Machine, dead. Black Widow, dead. Hawkeye, dead. Happy, dead. Iron Man, not dead, but retired.
Oh,
I know,
guy.
right? It's like, who throws Happy into the mix for dying?
I have something I could say about that, but I'm gonna hold on.
All right. He says, honorable guesses of heroes that might move on and we don't see for a while in the future movies are the Hulk and Thor. These two right off into the sunset. Now, I will say, Hulk and Thor have already, gone, how's it, what's the word? M-O...
You talking about AWOL?
AWOL. Where am I? MOA. I don't know what I'm thinking of. They've already gone AWOL, so I don't see them going AWOL again. But in terms of deaths, what do you guys think is, let's first what's a number you think? How many do you think will die of main characters?
1.
1?
1.
Low balling it, huh? I don't know if I can say low balling it.
I would be surprised if
Going
there
low.
is many that. I would be surprised if they killed off that many in the Endgame movie, just because of Infinity Wars.
I think if they're gonna kill off, there needs to be one specifically that matters. I mean, I guess you could kill a few off at the same time if you needed to, but I feel like in order for it to truly matter, there needs to be one, just one, that sacrifices himself in some way.
Or herself.
Well, in my case, it's himself.
Captain America or Iron Man?
I believe that Captain America will die. And I believe that they didn't, and I guess spoilers again, if for the comics, he was supposed to be, in the comics and for Civil War, he was actually assassinated.
Yeah.
He died. But they didn't do that for the MCU movie. And I think that's because they wanted to save it for this. They've been hinting at the fact that Steve Rogers was going to do something like this ever since he jumped on that grenade. In the first Avenger.
Yep.
And so I think,
Wow, that would be a huge callback.
Yep.
yeah.
If he does something like that again.
For sure.
So I know they kind of alluded that, when he went down with that big old ship at the end of First Avenger, but I think this is the big one where it truly matters the most.
So, Mark,
Now-
I was just going to say, I back you 100% on this. I agree with you 100%. And I think it goes back to not just him jumping on the grenade, but, I'm going to go all Easter on us because that's what we just got. We just celebrated this past weekend. But there's a scripture that we've mentioned before that, where Jesus says, greater love has nothing better than this, that that you lay down your life for a friend. And I just think that Captain America being considered the greatest good in terms of superheroes, it just makes sense that he would die for other people. It just seems like a no-brainer almost.
For sure.
So,
I feel like if they kill off Captain America and Iron Man, it's just going to be a riot.
I don't think
Riots
they'll
in the
kill off
streets.
both. I think Iron Man's going to live.
I think that sort of leads into my next prediction, if we can keep going.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
Continue.
keep going.
What do you got?
So my next prediction will be that the original remaining Avengers, so the original, if Captain America dies, the remaining 5 original Avengers will basically pass the torch to the newer Avengers and
Okay.
basically retire or go off and do their own individual things. Like, I think Tony will survive mainly because he will retire being Iron Man.
Okay.
I think he will finally give up, being in that suit. He will embrace life with Pepper, and actually settle down and have a family. They kind of alluded to that in Infinity War a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, the remaining ones will retire, basically, from being Avengers and pass it on after this whole experience. So, commence with yours. Who else wants to go?
Yeah, I think there's going to be multiple deaths. I really do. This is the end of, I guess, Phase 4 of the MCU movies, and I really believe that there is going to be some finality to some of these journeys for these characters. Like was Arctic Warlocks, he said that he doesn't think that Hulk and Thor are going to die. I agree. I don't think they're going to die, but I think the more human characters will die. I really think that Iron Man is going to die.
Okay.
He started it all, and I think there's going to be this is the end of his journey. I don't think that there is going to be any of the Guardians that are going to die. I really think, like Ronnie said, there's going to be a riot if Iron Man and Captain America die, and I think they both will. I really do. I think there's going to be some sort of because those are the two that the Captain America Civil War. It was Iron Man versus Captain America and their teams. I really think that they're going to come together. There was a part where in Infinity War, the beginning, when Iron Man, doesn't want to call Captain America, and then the Hulk, he says, or Bruce Banner, he says, just give him a call. We're at the time where we need to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to come together, and whatever they're going to do, I don't know how it's going to end, but they both are going to die, and it is going to be emotional. These deaths aren't going to be something where they die and they go off screen. There may be those, and they'll come back later in the movie, but I really think that it's going to be a big emotional moment between Iron Man and Captain America as they both die at the same time.
Okay. Ronnie, do you have any predictions you want to share with the class?
I'm really just hoping that Rocket doesn't die, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's very low on the possible death.
I'd love for somehow him to be like an integral part in killing Thanos. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. He's a sturdy rabbit.
No,
He'll be good.
I feel like I don't know, like part of me thinks that they're going to make a huge splash with this movie, and I can't really think of anything bigger than maybe Iron Man and Captain America both dying, because those are the two kind of clear, like, two largest out of the group, and when people are most connected with them. So I think there's a reason that I definitely think one of them is probably going to go. I think that's the reason they are still here for Endgame.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be rough. People are gonna be crying.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. Yeah.
Agreed. Definitely. I think there's going to be. I definitely don't think they're going to play it safe and have pretty much everybody live and like just one or two die. I think every major group is going to have someone at least die. Either stay dead from Infinity War or die in this new one. One thing that that Arctic Warlocks brought up. He said another one, I also think there's a possibility that since the beginning of Infinity War, the Hulk got beat up, that the rest of the movie he didn't want to come out. And I think that in Endgame, something will happen that will make the Hulk go into World Breaker Hulk mode, possibly Black Widow being killed by Thanos, and that Hulk would get so angry that he finishes Thanos and somewhat gets redemption. And I like this, not because Black Widow dies.
That is good.
But that's one thing that I've been watching Infinity War again. I'm like, Hulk is such a non-item in Infinity War that he has to redeem himself. He has to come back and go nuts. Because that's the thing with Hulk in the comics, that he just gets angrier, and you cannot kill him. You cannot kill the Hulk. You can kill Bruce Banner, but you cannot kill the Hulk. He is unstoppable. And so he is going to show himself in Endgame, and he is going to be an integral part to defeating Thanos or another villain that might show up during this. We don't know. But I thought about that too, about the fact of Black Widow dying or Hawkeye also dying, because I think that in Endgame he loses all, if not most of his family, and he has nothing to live for. And so I could very much see him sacrificing himself for the cause. So.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's actually a good prediction right there. I don't like I said, there's going to be deaths that happen off screen where you think they die. Yeah, and I think that might what happened with maybe Black Widow if she doesn't die.
Yeah, for real.
It kind of looks like she does, or because she gets hurt really badly to where Hulk wants to come back out.
No doubt that he'll go.
Yeah,
he'll go nuts on Thanos. Also, Mark, just so you know, you're not alone with the passing of the torch. At Life of Mike BC said, seems bland and obvious, but I think some MCU vets get deaded or stay deaded, and then new kids on the block stay alive or come back. Pretty much insinuating that they kind of take the torch and carry it forward. There would definitely be. Yeah. I definitely agree with you, Mark. That there's definitely going to be a changing of the guard, and it's going to be more. It's going to be maybe more drastic than we want to believe or think it will be. Do you guys think that they're going to insert any of the new characters that were acquired through the Fox relationship, like any X-Men? Do you think they'll hint at any X-Men kind of being inserted into the MCU? Because that's one thing that I've had in the back of my head, that would they make that a part of the next phase, the X-Men phase, to kind of join that into the MCU?
I think that whole acquisition was too late.
Too late, right?
For that. Will they incorporate it into the next phase of Marvel movies? Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
But yeah, in terms of it showing up in Endgame, I just think it came a bit too late. I mean, they could surprise me, but...
Yeah, and bringing in a whole new slew of characters in the MCU, that's going to carry the Phase 5 and Phase 6 just because of the new characters into the MCU, for sure.
Speaking of new characters, I did have to ask, who do you guys think will be the villain that's introduced in Endgame? Because surely Thanos is not the main villain for both Infinity War and Endgame. I think Thanos is the beginning villain, but I don't think he's going to be the main villain, at least by the end of the movie. I think they're going to use it as a way to introduce the next villain.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know any villains in the MCU. So every time there's a new villain, I'm like, okay.
New information.
Yeah. I think they might take this opportunity to sort of introduce a big bad or another big bad. I think Thanos, for the most part, will remain the villain of both Infinity War and Endgame. But the one place they can go is a character by the name of Galactus.
Yeah.
And he is this huge, godlike evil character.
He is.
So I think they could certainly go in that direction. But who knows?
Yeah. The reason I brought that up, too, is not just because of the fact that, I don't know, it's just how it goes with comic book movies, or with just movies in general. They have to go to the next big thing. But it's just the fact that in the trailers they have shown what looks to be a big showdown between Thanos and the characters, and so I just feel like it's possible there's like a smoke and mirrors thing going on, where they have another villain in the wings, whether it's a hero turning to a villain that we don't know they're going to turn into a villain, or like something totally random that I think he's a hero in the comic books, but who are the gold people from Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Oh gosh.
The Sovereign, I think.
Yes.
And then they have the Adam Warlock character that they alluded to at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that is supposedly in the comic books the only one of the few that has been able to use the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, I wonder if they're going to introduce him, which I think he's a hero, but they could make him a villain.
I feel like that would be such a just out of nowhere pull, though. I mean, yeah, they introduced it in that sort of after credits scene, but like to just introduce Adam Warlock at the very last minute to do that, I don't know. I don't know about that, but who knows?
Time will tell. Speaking of time, very quickly, time travel. It's almost guaranteed to be a part of the next movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has to do it has to do with the quantum realm.
Yeah,
something
Absolutely.
they're going to be able to time travel using the quantum realm. What that looks like and how they're going to do that, but I mean, yeah, there's going to be some sort of time travel for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a couple Brazilian friends. They said they thought in the trailer, where it shows them facing Thanos again, that they think that they're pretty much going to lose that battle miserably, and then those who are left are going to return to Earth, go to the quantum realm, and that the majority of the movie is going to be about them going back in time and trying to fix the mistakes and trying to hit the points where they can kind of prevent Thanos from doing what he does. And they think that Captain America is going to actually stay in the past to live his life with Peggy, as both a way to kind of fulfill his past and then also take one for the team, like travel back in
I
time
kind of like
to
that.
to
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
to whatever he needs to do in the past to change the future, and that's what when I was talking to him about that, I'm like, well, what are they going to do in the past that's really going to prevent Thanos from doing what he does? Like, I can't think of what they would do.
I know
to
exactly
change
what
that.
they would do, but I don't want to say it.
Well, do you know for sure they're going to do it?
I don't know 100. Well, I have some ideas.
Okay, fair enough.
I shouldn't say them though.
As Arctic Warlocks would say, fair enough.
I won't say it on here.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. All right.
Fair enough.
Well, I think we've exhausted so many predictions that we should get at least one or two things right. So, do you guys have any final thoughts? Any music, Marc Boucher, that you want to share with the class?
Oh, we got some music for
Yeah,
sure.
you do.
And as always, you can check out the Good Morning Guys morning playlist on Spotify and on iTunes. Thank you so much, Bernabe. And so the list that I have this week is basically all around the MCU music that has been used in the various MCU movies, for sure. The first on the list is the Avengers theme.
Oh,
Man,
nice.
it's so classic.
PUBG theme. Nice.
The PUBG.
The second song is Redbone's Come and Get Your Love. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, grab your rat and start singing.
And the third is AC/DC's Back in Black, which they used in the first Iron Man.
Criminally underused in the Iron Man movies. I think that should have been in every Iron Man movie at some point. But
Well, we already had Iron Man on the list, on the playlist already, so I couldn't use it again. Otherwise, I totally would have.
oh no, that makes sense. I was just saying
And
for those
it was,
songs.
It was
should use
either
them
Back in Black or Shoot to Thrill.
Mhm.
And so I
Another good one.
decided to go with Back in Black. And then the fourth was actually kind of a submission from our community. The only submission I got was from Barnaby Butters. Bernabe. He had suggested a particular song from Deadpool, which technically he's part of the MCU, I guess, now. But upon listening to the lyrics of that particular song, I kind of decided to steer away from that. So instead, I used the song Angel of the Morning by Juice Newton. That is actually the song that plays during the intro credits for Deadpool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are the submissions.
Wait, hold on. His name is Juice?
Her name is Juice.
Oh, her name is Juice.
Yeah,
Okay.
why would you think
Juice
him?
Newton.
Come on, Patrick. Juice is clearly a girl's name.
I
Hello,
have
Miss
a feeling
Juice.
that's not her actual name, but
You never know.
no, I don't. But those are the submissions for this week.
All right, well, that's all for this marvelous morning. Feel free to leave us a positive but honest review and rating on iTunes if you have a couple minutes to spare. We did get another 5-star rating this week, but we still need 3 more for Ronnie to do something crazy. So let your voice be heard, Apple style. Also, remember, if you'd like to join in on our future episodes or connect with our community, but are not sure how to do so, check out the show notes that have all of our info on our Discord server. It's free and a fun way to connect directly with us in the community. Also, our personal Twitter handles are there, and the show's, which is at the GMG Podcast. Also, you'll find our email, or you can even call us at what number, Ronnie?
I don't know.
That's right, folks. 929. I don't know. Call-in restrictions may apply. Call in at 929-GMG, guys. Leave a message, ask a question, and you can join us on the show. Beyond that, talk at you again next week on podcast services around the globe as we pinye la jihafa. And have a good morning for discussing our dreams. Not the Martin Luther King Jr. kind, but the teeth falling out, arriving to school late in your underwear, or flying kind of dreams. Should be interesting. Alrighty then, PN, MB, and RJ, who for the 26th and the 27th week in a row procrastinatingly put off watching Patrick's DVD copy of Superman. You, our friends, family, and listeners, go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, work, and game. Je tu bain is mon ami.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so there was this podcast, and it was called The Good Morning Guys, and Lucas was there, and Ronnie was there, and Patrick was there, Marc was there, and they totally got together every week, and they would do a podcast, and it was like, man, let's do a podcast together.
Oh, keep going. Oh man,
We're supposed to stop.
I'm still stuck on this Juice name.
Yeah,
Her actual name was like Judy K, not Juice.
figures.
Yep. Man, if I was like a rapper, I'd be like Master Juice. I'd be the orange
Well,
juice.
if my name was Judy, I would have been like Judy Juice. Like, make it a, whatever that's called, where you double up the sounds. Like, hey, I'm Judy Juice. What's up with you?
Yeah.
What's up with you?
What's up with Juice?
You talking to me?
And Ronnie, there's this movie that he kept not watching each and every week, and he's like, nah, man, I didn't watch it, but I did watch these other movies. And Patrick was all this, like, executioner of fake news kind of stuff. He's like, fake news this, fake news that. And then Lucas, he's over here being all high and mighty pastor kind of stuff. And then there was Marc, he was like, guys, I hate you, blah. And I can't think of any more.
Good.
All right, guys, that's a wrap.